It's your boy Big Ghost Rider, baby. It's Legal War Live, man. Live on location, man. You know what I'm talking about? New York City, man. It's my 5th week in the city, man, actually living in the city. You know what I'm saying? My 10th month in the state of New York, man. You know what I'm saying? On a journey, man. I call it a journey of justice. You know? People ask me, how can a guy from Mississippi, who's a disabled veteran, by the way, on a supplemental income, how can he think that he can afford to live life on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, man? You know what I'm saying? That's because I believe in God, man. I got faith in God. You know what I'm saying? I didn't in my mind say, and I talked about this with my mom the other day, you know what I'm saying? When I left Mississippi, I dropped in Mississippi for 3 months. I only been in Mississippi for 3 months in the last 4 years. You see what I'm saying? That's my home. I dipped into Mississippi, man, and when I dipped in for them 3 months, I never in my mind knew that I was going to end up out here in New York. I really didn't. You see what I'm saying? My business, a Miller Wright Legal LLC, it's a legal documents company. You know what I'm saying? I mainly in Texas. I was in Texas doing it. I built the business in Texas. I started a live stream in Texas, in Houston. You know what I'm saying? Then I went to Mississippi. Things got quiet for my business for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I didn't file a case for 15 months. I believe in large part that's how I'm in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Because 15 months, I went without filing a case. And then when I did file my first case in 15 months in July of 2025, you know what I'm saying? It hadn't even been a year, excuse me. I've got one settlement, a small settlement, but it hadn't been a year since I started refiling cases. If you guys know anything about legal documents companies or about law firms, or, you know what I'm saying, the way cases move through the court, you know it's going to take a minute, man, at least a year. So that's what I'm doing, man. I'm out here in New York, man. I got 5 cases, man, in federal court. You know what I'm saying? Listen, this is what I got to say to this. For me to be able to have all these cases as a pro se plaintiff, you know I got things going on, but this is what I got to say to this. I want to be real clear about this. Bro, a Miller Wright Legal and my business, I foresee will remain doing business in Manhattan through October. That's what it is. I'm saying there ain't nothing else you could do about that. A Miller Wright Legal, my business, will remain doing business past this tour. And I'm saying all you're going to do is you try to challenge that, you're going to embarrass yourself. Because I'm going to be in Manhattan, homie. That's period. That's point blank. That is non-negotiable. I'm going to be in Manhattan. Will I be on the Upper West Side? I'm not sure. Manhattan, the island is pretty big. You know what I'm saying? The way that the city of New York got it split up, it's a pretty big island, man. So it's a lot of different places I could be in the island. You see what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, it's a whole lot of places I could be in New York City, in the city, but I could guarantee you one thing for certain and 2 things for sure. I don't see past, you know what I'm saying, October of this year, me not being in Manhattan, doing business in Manhattan. So if you're thinking anything else in your mind, man, you are sadly misinformed. And that's where we're going to start it off. That's the introduction. We're going to go ahead and jump into the content as you guys drop it to the live stream. Or if y'all watching this after it was pre-recorded, excuse me, I ask that you'll double tap your screen for me, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. You know what I'm saying? So you guys could go live every time we go live, man. We out here in Central Park. That's where I was just doing the spill on. Out here in New York City, man. We finna get started with the content, man. You know what I'm saying? You guys see the information, the data down below in the chat, and that data is accurate. The median age of American is 39.2 years old. Do anybody know what median age means? Does anyone know what median age means? If you guys do, y'all could jump down in the comments and y'all could participate in the conversation. I appreciate that. Legal Wars Live, we're very interactive on this live stream. You know what I'm saying? Republicans, independents, and Democrats, we all Americans, man. We all brothers and sisters. So I invite y'all to jump down in the comments and let y'all voices be heard. You know what I'm saying? The median age of an American, that means the exact middle. It's the difference between average. When you talk about the average age of an American, what you're going to do, you're going to take up all the ages of Americans and you're going to add them together, and then you're going to multiply it, and whatever number you come up with, you're going to multiply it, then divide it by the number you multiplied it, whatever number you come up with, that's the average age. The median is different. The median age is the exact middle. The exact middle age of an American that's breathing on our soil in our country is 39.2 years old. That's less than 40. So me at 46, I mean, I don't fancy myself being that young, but I'm relatively young. I'm 6 years older than the median age, the middle of America, the middle of American age. Now, to go further, if we look at the median age of an actual American voter, and that's key, that's important. You see what I'm saying? When you have people who are basically, analysis is basically you analyzing any type of data, numbers, you know what I'm saying, words, charts, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We do this in political science. With political strategy, basically, you are analyzing the analyzed data. You see what I'm saying? So when I started doing strategy, I stopped. I'm not on here doing news reporting. I'm not on here it's a strategy. When I started doing strategy, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to go through all those numbers, but I could tell you that the median age or the exact middle of an American voter is approximately 51 to 52 years old. So that goes for the 18-year-olds who's voting. That goes for the 28-year-olds who's voting, all the way up to the 80-year-olds who's voting. There's a myth. We have a myth that the majority of the voters are 60 to 80 years old. We have a myth. And that myth is well founded, because I'll explain it to you. Once people get to 60 to 80, it's like things like their civic duty, like voting, they're all for it. They're going to vote. Most people 60 and 80, the majority of 60 to 80-year-olds, they do vote. That's factual. But that doesn't mean that the majority of all voters are 60 to 80 years old. That's not factual. The median age, that means the exact middle age of an actual American voter, is between 51 and 52 years old. You say, Ghost, why do you say that? I say that because I believe that explains a lot. That explains the divide that we have going on in our country. You see what I'm saying? We have a president, and it's not just this president. So all y'all Republicans who's gonna get mad at me, all y'all Trump lovers who about to get mad at me, you like, oh man, he hating on President Trump. He 80 years old. President Trump is in really good shape for being 80 years old, and I'm not disputing that. He really is. But what I'm trying to tell you is not only President Trump, the previous president we had before President Trump was a Democrat, and he was older than President Trump. You get that? So I'm not hating on President Trump. I'm not hating on the Republicans. I'm just trying to show y'all that the average age of an American voter is 51 years old. And the average age of an American president within the last 2 administrations have been 80 years old. That's a huge disconnect. You see what I'm saying? Listen, I understand, and I said this on a short earlier on this channel. I understand that majority of men, when they hit their stride, when they hit their peak, you know what I'm saying? Not when they hit their prime. You know what I'm saying? A majority of men, when they hit their prime, they step into an age of wisdom and understanding, of knowledge and maturity, that allows them to become the maximum as successful as they can be in life. Most men, when they hit that prime, they are older in age. You see what I'm saying? Most men, when they reach the maximum amount of power, they are older in age. That's facts. Look at Ronald Reagan. Look at Donald Trump. Look at your neighbors, the people around you. You see what I'm saying? Most people 60, 70, 80 years old. You know a lot of 60, 70, 80-year-olds in America who's living well. really well. That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when we get a man who reaches his power at a young age, like a Barack Obama who became president in his 40s, get a politician who reaches maturity, or at a young age he reaches that power, he reaches the height of his life at a young age, like a William Jefferson Clinton. What I'm saying is we get a young president like a John F. Kennedy. They were extremely popular with their populations, with their governments. That's like in Saudi Arabia. You have what is his name, Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia. He is extremely popular, bro, with his people, and I think he's like in his 30s or 40s. You see what I'm saying? When you get a president at a young age, when you get the leader of America's biggest city, perhaps the most important city in the world, when you get a 34-year-old mayor of New York City, they are usually extremely popular with the people, and there's an explanation for that. You see what I'm saying? If the median age of an American is 40 years old and Barack Obama gets elected at 42 or 43 years old, what I'm saying is he is the average age of an average American. He's tapped in with the population. He's tapped in with what the people feel, what the people saying. It's like at 42 or 43 years old, you could understand what an old person's saying, what an old person thinking, what an old person feels, because you have that maturity. But you're not too old to understand what a young person thinks, what a young person feels. You're not too old to understand how the new things that are happening in the world and the change. Listen, any man who makes money, President Trump being in crypto and President Trump being in and what's that, Dogecoin, or President Trump, like being in those different, like we might look at that as like some kind of young, cool and hip thing that he's involved in. But you got to realize that President Trump got sons that are the median age of the American population. That's what I'm saying. How old Don Jr. is? How old his other son is? I know Barron is below the median age. He like 19 years old. So I'm saying President Trump with his business, because I'm saying Ronald Reagan, I know some of y'all know his children and everything, but I'm saying Ronald Reagan's children weren't involved. It's not like President Trump is. You see what I'm saying? So you see President Trump, one thing, he's a billionaire, so he's a businessman, so he's gonna know how to make money off business. That's for number one. But I'm saying for number two, he has a lot of younger sons or younger people around him, but that still doesn't make him, be 40 or 50 years old, the median age of American voter. That doesn't make him be tapped into the soul, the spirit, and the heartbeat of America. And what we have is, not just in America, not just with President Trump, not just with President Biden, in the whole world, in Iran. I'm talking about America's mortal enemy who we fighting right now. That was the problem in Iran, where the people, listen, right now, if you turn on the TV and you see or hear anything about Iran, you're going to hear about millions of people showing up for the dead supreme leader. Yeah, they might be showing up for the dead supreme leader, but the Iranian government killed tens of thousands of their people prior to this war starting, because millions of them were out there protesting the Iranian government. And I'm telling you, anytime, look at the Arab Spring, and it's not just because those governments were old and outdated. That's a part of it. But I'm saying every single government in the Middle East, they had this ancient leader. I'm saying, look at the actual king in Saudi Arabia. That man pushing 90 years old. Saddam Hussein, what was he, in his 60s or his 70s? Mubarak from Egypt, he was an old man too. I'm saying when you have old leaders looking Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, when you have these old leaders who are out in touch with their people, the median age of American is 50 years old. That's why you see the Americans 50 years old and younger, they standing united. I don't care what party they in. How old is Tucker? How old is Candace? How old is Alex Jones? How old is Megyn Kelly? How old is Marjorie Taylor Greene? How old is Thomas Massey? You get the point? Do you get the point? How old is Thomas Massey? I mean, if you look at someone like Rand Paul or you look at someone like Bernie Sanders, that's politics. You know, Bernie a big progressive. He independent who caucus with the Democrats. So Bernie Sanders, you know, he ain't gonna be in line with President Trump doing. Rand Paul might be a little bit older. He not an old man, but he might not be in line with President Trump doing because he's a libertarian. That's politics. But I'm talking about J.D. Vance. That's what I'm talking about. The vice president that you chose. How does JD feel about that war? Y'all get where I'm coming from? Man, that ain't got nothing to do. You talking about like it's bad politics or like JD? Oh, nah, it's because we got old leaders. We got these old men, bruh. And these old men are in charge of a whole nation of people that are not as old as they are. That doesn't see things the way that they see things. That it's like a different world. And it's like that leader that's what it is. That leader, he's stuck in the 80s. He's stuck in the 80s. I'm saying you listening to another leader, Benjamin Netanyahu, who's stuck in the 80s. You listening to another leader, Lindsey Graham, who's stuck in the 80s. That's the problem. They all stuck in the 80s. President Trump think this is the 80s where he talking about Iran, bro. This is a different world, and you're not in touch with this world. Zoran is in touch with he's more in touch with the people. He's the people's age. He's the average age of the people. He know what's going on the ground. Zoran don't have to go talk to his sons to understand what's hip and what's popular and what the American people are saying or thinking. He don't have to do that. Barack didn't have to do that. Bill Clinton didn't have to do that. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. But when you have these old leaders who are out of touch with their people, President Trump is 30 years older than the average American voter. 30 years older. 30 years older. I'm telling y'all, it's gonna work better when you get, if the average American voter is a 50-year-older, I guarantee you, if you had a 50-something-year-old president, it don't matter about your party. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. J.D. Vance would be more in line or more in touch because do you get it? He's against this war too. He's not a Democrat. He's not going to do things like a Democrat or a progressive will, but he will take the country in a different direction than President Trump. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not no knock on the big dog because the president before the big dog was just as old. The last two times I'm talking about the age-wise, we're electing leaders who are not in touch with us. And that's the same thing happened in Iran before their supreme leader was dead. That's why they had all those people out there protesting. Because you got the same leader for 47 years. Thank God in America, at least we get to change our leaders. So if we had two 80-year-olds, the last two administrations, maybe next time we could vote for at least a 50 or a 60-year-old or younger. But I'm saying in Iran, they don't get to change their leaders. So you get a leader who young, and then for 47 years, you got a 90-year-old man walking around as the leader of Iran. I don't care how religious or how conservative they are. That 90-year-old is not going to see eye to eye with a 25 or 26-year-old Shiite Muslim who's practicing his religion in his country. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. These old men, they hanging on to power for way too long. That's the problem. And if you an old man like President Trump is, and I'm saying you surrounded, when you see him going to McDonald's, Mickey D's, say cheese, dropping French fries, he look cool as an old man. You know Joe Biden wasn't doing nothing like that VP Harris would. See what I'm saying? She younger. Barack Obama, with that bird, you Barack Obama, he running into the gyms and he running up the stairs of Air Force One, you know. We can relate to that. I'm 46. How old you are in the live stream? I'm saying the average American voter is 50. We talking about if you put in all the 80-year-olds, you put in all the 18-year-olds, the age of that voter, that American going to that ballot box is 50 years old. And your president is 80. And he listening to his 19-year-old son. Yeah, he look cool on TikTok. He plugged in with Aiden Ross. Well, he didn't really plug in with academics, but his son did. You see what I'm saying? He plugged in with Joe Rogan and them. You know, he had Tucker and them at the time. He had Candace and them. He had a lot of people who got a whole lot of views talking to pretty much the youth in America, or the 50-year-old younger crowd in America. But you become president and you start listening to the advice of men who are almost just as old as you are, if not older. Like Benjamin Netanyahu, he almost just as old as President Trump, ain't he? I don't know how old he is. I know he been in that position for much too long. That's what I'm saying. That's the problem. Way too long. For way too long. That's all the issue is. And I'm saying, so he gets policies, or he get politics. You see what I'm saying? That he might be trying to do it like it was doing it under Bill Clinton's administration in the 90s. You see what I'm saying? He might be doing it like they were trying to do it under George Bush administration in the early 2000s. But what I'm saying is he's not doing it the way that the American people, the majority of the American people, that's why you got 58%, a solid 58% of Americans who completely disagree with this war. And I guarantee you 90+% of those 58% of Americans, I'm giving you guys strategy right here now, because these are facts. 58% of Americans are completely against this war, and I guarantee you that 90+% of those people against this war are 52 years or younger. You see what I'm saying? If you have a Mendami, but listen, this is what I'm finna tell you about Bernie Sanders. You said Bernie Sanders is out. I'm glad somebody said that. I glanced down there real quick and I seen that in the live stream. Somebody said Bernie is 80 years old. So let's talk about that for just a second. The best way to get the best leader in America is not let the 80-year-old be the leader. Let the 80-year-old be amongst the advisors. That's the best way to do it. Let me show you how they did it in Saudi Arabia. So you had the king of Saudi Arabia, okay, King Solomon. He started getting old. The man know he in his 80s. He know he getting too old to rule. So you know what he did? He said he gonna pick one of his sons as a crown prince that's gonna rule in his stead. And that's where we get MBS, Mohammed bin Solomon. But what I'm saying is why MBS is ruling in Saudi Arabia, his daddy, the entire time has been advising him, has been teaching him, has been instructing him, has been leading him the entire time. If you a 40-year-old Barack Obama, you getting your wisdom, you getting your advice, you getting your knowledge and your understanding from 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, and 80-year-olds. So what you say, what you talking about, Ghost? What I'm saying is Mendami is perfect. All he got to do is pick up the phone and call Big Bernie. I don't think Bernie trying to be president no more. Bernie's an architect. Bernie's a scientist, a genius, a wizard. And he's sitting there reconstructing the entire Democratic Party by itself. Bernie Sanders is doing it. Him and AOC. He reconstructing the entire Democratic Party, and he uplifting progressives in the Democratic Party all over America. Bernie not trying to be president. Bernie on a bigger mission than that. Bernie trying to take over the world. I just playing Bernie. I call him King Bernie. Pinky in the brain. Bernie Sanders on something different than what y'all talking about. He don't want just one to be president like Barack for 8 years and he want to change America fundamentally. The governance of America. That's what Bernie Sanders doing. He trying to remake the Democratic Party into a Democratic Socialist Party of America. That's going to change a whole lot. That'll fundamentally change America. That's not just, you know what I'm saying, running for president and getting some temporary power, because that's all a president has is temporary power. He only president for 8 years. Bernie trying to get the major cities of America to be ran by Democratic Socialists. He's trying to get the progressives in the House of Representatives. I'm telling you, it's on something totally different. I don't think Bernie's running for president. But we know Gavin Newsom is. Is Gavin Newsom of a viable age to be president? We know J.D. Vance is. Is J.D. Vance of a viable age to be president? We know VP Harris is. Is VP Harris, and we know AOC might. I'm saying we know Marco Rubio is. I'm saying those people and their ages, it don't matter what party they're in. We just talking about that's the divide in America. Listen, we see this all the way throughout our society, not just on the presidential level or in our politics. You have old men who run communities and who run cities, I guarantee you. You have unrest in those cities because, listen, they're not plugged in with the younger population. I believe Mandami is old enough to make a mature decision like an 80-year-old leader. He's old enough to do that, and at the same time, he understands the plight of an 18-year-old, of a 20-year-old. Mandami understands the plight of a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old. I don't think President Trump, he understands that. President Trump didn't see how important it was, or how much the youth, the younger Americans, how much they would despise that war. He didn't see that coming from Tucker. He just thought he could foo-foo and shoot. He didn't see that coming from Nick Fuentes. He probably didn't see that coming from Candace Owens. He didn't see that coming from Ellis Jones. He probably knew JD would be against it, but you know, he just gonna overpower JD. He kind of got control of JD's political future for now. For now. That's just for now, though. So he know JD, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You see what he did with Marjorie Taylor Greene. You see what he did to Thomas Massey. So he ain't really worried about the Republicans going against him. It ain't nothing he really could do to Tucker Carlson. Ain't nothing really he could do to Alex Jones in there. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying he 80 years old listening to another 70-plus-year-old man, Benjamin Netanyahu, and President Trump. He ain't seeing that the youth in America, the 50-year-olds or younger. You talking to a bunch of 70-year-olds, President Trump, that's your problem. Marco, you heard what Marco said about Benjamin. You didn't listen to that. You heard how J.D. Vance felt about the war. You didn't listen to that. I'm saying you need a strategist around you like Ghost, who will tell you President Trump, the average American voter is 50. So all them 80-year-olds, ignore them. All them 18-year-olds, ignore them. And just when you see a voter in the voting booth, just think he 51 to 52 years old. 52 to 53 years old. And so once you know that the average voter is 50, then I'm going to think about what the 50-year-olds and younger want in America, because that's the majority of America. That's how Ghost just a little smarter than you. He quicker than you. I'm going to look at, okay, the average voter in America is what age? Oh, the median. The middle voter in America, the middle age is 52 years old. So that voter who's voting in that booth is 52 years old. I don't care if they're 60. I don't care if they're 80. They 52. You got to get there with me for just a second. So if that's a 52-year-old that I know that's going to be in that voting booth, whatever voting booth in whatever city and whatever state and whatever district, that's a 50-year-old in there voting. And if I know that, then I know whenever I'm executing a policy, I'm listening to all the people who are 50 years old and under. And all the people 50 years old or under are completely against what I'm doing. That's what it is. We try to divide the stuff the wrong way. We try to divide it up like it's Republican against Democrat. It's really not Republican against Democrat. We try to divide it like it's black against white to a certain extent, but all the way it's not about black against white. We try to divide it up in the way we want to divide it up. But the problem is that we not on the same page with the older generation. And I'm saying they trying to maintain and they trying to hold on to power. Old man, if you want to hold on to power, you got to listen to the average American. Because if not, you're going to lose your power. And that's what's finna happen to President Trump in November. He going to lose his power. Because he didn't listen to the average American. Because he didn't listen to the majority of the voters. It's like he come in governing for the Republican Party, he governing for MAGA, and he governing for the rich. And that's facts. That's basic Republican strategy, besides the MAGA part. You see what I'm saying? And President Trump, that was enough to get you elected 2 times, but that wasn't enough to hold Congress for you last time. It's not going to be enough to hold Congress for you this time. That's not enough for you to hold on to power. That's not enough for you to hold on to the ability to get reconciliation bills passed through Congress. That's not enough for you to hold on to the ability to shut off investigations of Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, Alex Peretti into their death, and Renee Good. I'm saying, like, if you want to hold on to power, see, I'm a strategist. I'm going to help that politician hold on to power. To them, it's all about getting power. I can help them get power too. They got to listen, though. You got to do it the way that it's supposed to be done. Like VP Harris, you run this time, you really need to be completely... If AOC runs, I think VP Harris has a ginormous problem. AOC is wielding a lot of power in these elections. When it's Chuck Schumer's turn, she could run for his seat, and in her state, she's gonna win that seat, that Senate seat. And if she wins that Senate seat, then she's probably gonna be able to take over the Senate. So AOC could take that path. Or if she takes a path of running for president, it'll be a difficult proposition, but it's not impossible. They thought it was impossible for President Obama too. I'm telling you, affordability is going to be your #1 issue. And AOC, she gets all A+ in that category. So with the Americans, she could do a really good job in that election. But what I'm saying is, VP Harris, if you want to run, you reaching out to Mandami, and you reaching out to AOC and VP Harris, you need to reach out to Bernie. Because that Bernie, the big dog, you get Bernie, who you need to get him, like those the people you need to bring into your camp. I'm telling you, because they are the ones that's winning. Point blank period. The progressives are winning. They're going to win for a while in the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? But man, that's just my take, man, and that's why I think that's going on. I don't think there's really a divide in America as far as like a political divide, no more than a political divide there always been. I believe that the government of America is becoming more and more divided. I'm going to take a sip of water because I want y'all to listen to what I'm finna tell you, because what I'm finna tell you is probably the most profound thing I said at 35 minutes. If you guys haven't liked the video, you guys go ahead and double tap the screen for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. If anyone want to donate to the channel, if you guys want to become a member of the channel, channel membership's only $2.99. That's the best way to support the channel while we're out here on this tour, the Tax the Rich Tour, episode number 74. 26 more episodes to go. If you guys want to become a member of the channel, get all first access to the vlogs, all the exclusive content, hit the button with the $sign in it. and your donations are much appreciated. What I'm finna tell you guys, I hope y'all are paying really close attention. You are listening to a political strategist. No, I do not have the experience, but the Bible says that wisdom is justified of her children. People who hear wisdom, they could understand and know that it's wisdom when they hear it. The American government is becoming more and more divided. We cannot deny that. We cannot argue with that. We see that all the time. Stalemates constantly in Congress. Partisan. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the left being far left, extremists, fringe. President Trump call them evil or wicked Democrats. But we know the right is far right, extremists, fringe. You see what I'm saying? So you thinking that in America, the people are as divided as the government is, but that's not the case. The government in America is becoming more and more divided, and the people in America are becoming more and more united. Excuse me. And that's facts. The government in America is becoming more and more divided, and Candace Owens does an interview with Anna from the Young Turks. Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing interviews on The View. You feel me? Thomas Massey, he always on CNN. I'm not saying Republicans. There's plenty of Republicans who go on CNN or go on MSNBC for that matter. Pete Buttigieg go on Fox News, but what I'm trying to tell you is if you look upon the American population and you look upon the issues, a lot of the issues the American people are so united in. That's Republican and Democrats. Nobody wants to fight a foreign war. That's Republican or Democrat. If you look at Republican or Democrat, where you start looking at the polls and the issues more and more on the polls, the people are more and more united. Republicans and Democrats. Look at the issue of Israel. You see what I'm saying? Republicans and Democrats united. They united. The American people won't change. They united on that. If you don't believe me, get Reuters, get Ipsos, get CNN, get all of them to run a poll and put change as one of the primary factors in which the American people are going to vote for. And I guarantee you they're going to be voting for change if they know it or not. They want something different. They want something new. And it's been like this for a long time. And I'm saying with the American people, that itch is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. With the American people, they're going to want something new more and more and more until they get it. That's what's going on, man. That's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see how in the world we can make this happen if we still voting for leaders who are just out of touch with the American people. Someone says this world is evil, and that's facts. It really is. But God put us in this evil world, so we got to live and maintain, Angel, in this world. Nerd Dickey says America has a two-party system. If you want a long-term politician gone, then adopt a multi-party system. You got to get the American people to support that. That's why, listen, you've had a lot of politicians. I think President Trump ran as a third-party candidate. Or not ran, he considered a run as a third-party candidate. You see what I'm saying? Like, but I'm just telling you, like, it's just so hard in America to get elected as president if you're not a Republican or a Democrat. It's like you almost have to be a Republican or a Democrat to get elected. So that's why you have like 3 or 4 variations of people who are caucusing or parties caucusing with the Democratic Party. The Green Party is with the Democratic Party. The progressives, the Democratic Socialists. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with the Republican. You got, you know what I'm saying, MAGA. They became Republicans. You got libertarians. You got the establishment. You know what I'm saying? It's like you, basically, regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, you're going to either go left or right. And I'm saying you might not agree all the way with the Republican Party. You see President Trump's coalition is completely splintered. Completely, I would say. I didn't say it was broken. I didn't say it was done or gone, but I'm saying it's definitely completely splintered. Completely. So I'm saying you have people to go along with the Republican Party, or you have people to go along with the Democratic Party that doesn't all the way agree with what they agree with. And you see that with AOC. She caucuses as a Democrat or with the Democrats, but she's definitely a Democratic socialist. Same thing with Mandami. Chris Cuomo was complaining about that because he felt like Mandami should run as a third-party candidate, not as a Democrat, because he's not a pure Democrat. That's just facts. But we have a two-party system, so it's like you got to get in on one side or the other. Someone says the United States is democratic. Nerd says not socialist. It is. You see what I'm saying? Mandami says he's a democratic socialist. He didn't say he was a socialist. He didn't say that Putin or Xi was his friend. He said that he was a democratic socialist. It's a little bit different. It's something new. You could say all you want to that the America is going to adopt socialist policies because they just work better. VP Harris telling the American people, she runs again, and she tells the American people this time, it seemed like they gonna believe her over J.D. Vance this time, right? Because they know they could have listened to her last time, but they didn't. I don't know, I might be wrong. It's just what I'm saying, what it seems like. That's just a little bit of reason, but I might be wrong. What I'm saying is when they run for president this time, and she's talking about controlling the prices. Look, she could stand before the American people and tell them, before you voted for President Trump, I told you the prices of the store is not going to get cheaper. This is what VP Harris could do in 2028. So she could come out with a solution to get the prices down in the grocery stores, and that would be we have to regulate what businesses could charge for the prices of goods. President Trump, he might want to do it. The Republicans ain't going to do it because they say that's socialist stuff. But I'm trying to tell you, that's what's going to sell with the American people. You in your mind is thinking that's socialist and America's not going to vote socialist. The Democrats have introduced America being conservative to all kind of things over the years, and the American people have went along with it. I never thought for one day in the world, okay, if you want to be gay, you done had gay people since the Bible days. That's how we know it's wrong, because God spoke against it in the Bible days. I'm talking about predating Jesus. But I'm saying two men get married. I never thought I would see that become legal in my lifetime. The Democrats introduced that to America, and they got the American people voting for it now. It's not funny, because I'm completely against it. The Democrats trying to introduce transgenders to America. I'm saying the Democrats introduced the first black man to America. The Democrats introduced they trying to get the first woman voted in America. I'm saying if the Democrats introducing democratic socialism to America, I'm saying I believe they're going to be highly successful with it. You see it in New York, you see it in California, it's happening in Colorado, it might happen in Maine, it might happen all across America. All the politicians in the Democratic Party saying they progressive. In Texas, in super ruby red Texas, you have James Tellerico saying he progressive and he a preacher. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, the progressives are on the move, definitely. You saying socialist America is not socialist, you're probably correct. But don't in your mind for a second, don't think that the Democrats are not going to try to introduce America to some new policies, because they've done it before and they've been madly successful. Policies that the majority of America, I know, don't support, but the Democrats still winning elections and enacting those policies. So you calling them a socialist, But the American people care about affordability. So the Democrats electing a politician who's going to help affordability. Because what I'm telling you is you can't come on the stage and tell us that you're going to cut deficits or cut the budget, because President Trump told us that as a Republican, and that did not happen. He just increased spending. You can't come on here and say you're going to cut fraud, waste, and abuse, and you make a quarter of your whole wealth you made in your lifetime as your first year in president, second term. You can, because the American people, how the American people see it. Listen, I don't care about you making $2 billion, President Trump. I don't care about your $400 million plane. And I promise, this is before the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm not a jealous guy. I don't care about none of that stuff. But the Democrats do. That's all they talk about. A lot of independents do. The courts do. They pulling your name off buildings. That leads me to think that the people do. I don't think it's a big deal, because every president makes money like that. Barack Obama done it. Barack Obama just built $1 billion presidential museum. $1 billion, almost $1 billion. Every politician is this or that. It ain't no different than President Trump. It's just that the American people are looking at this. If I'm going to vote for a politician, they both going to be corrupt. If I'm going to vote for a politician, they both going to enrich themselves. You might not have enriched yourself to the tune of $2.2 billion in a year, but you still enriched yourself as a president or vice president or senator or congressperson. You know what I'm saying? The American people looking at both sides corrupt, both sides, ain't neither side gonna balance the budget. The Republicans, y'all come out, unless you a libertarian like Rand Paul or Thomas Massey, and you've been preaching this balanced budget on point for decades, the American people not gonna believe you, Republican. You talked about fraud, waste, and abuse. All the Democrats gotta do is play Elon Musk on that stage with that chainsaw, talking about all these cuts with fraud, waste, and abuse, and show in 2025 what actually happened with the budget, how the spending increased, didn't decrease with the chainsaw. What you get the chainsaw for? You know, Elon, my boy, that's what I'm saying. The American people are not going to care about none of that. All the American people are going to care about is what the politician can do for them. I'm telling you. Y'all know, y'all heard JFK back then say, don't ask what the country could do for you, what you could do for your country. That speech ain't gonna play in 2026. It's not gonna play in 2028. The American people making less than $100,000 a year, the youth of America who have lost hope in the American dream, have lost hope in the ability to buy a home at the same time and years that their parents did. I'm saying those kind of people, nah, they want to know what you finna do for them. They want to know what your policies finna do for them. And the progressives, see, you can't be talking about financial responsibility, all of that. You're going to lose them arguments and debates with the Democrats. All the Democrats going to pull up and show how many jobs was lost in 2025 and how much money was spent by the American government in 2025. That's all they got to do. So you can't come out to the American people with the fraud, waste, or abuse. You can't come out to the American people. You can't come out with none of that. American people ain't gonna care. They're gonna look at the Democrat. They're not saying the Democrats not corrupt. They're not saying the Democrats don't enrich themselves too. They both do. What the American people gonna do is they're gonna say, hey, both of these guys are corrupt. Both of these guys don't care about us. Both of these guys are in it for themselves. But Zoran is freezing the rig. First 6 months. But Zoran filling in the potholes. But Zoran is hustling, getting money for small businesses. But Zoran is getting free child care for New Yorkers. That's the difference. Neither one of them are going to cut the deficit. Neither one of them are going to cut the budget. Both of them corrupt. Yada, yada. But I'm telling you, if affordability is still the issue in 2026, which it is, which I still think could be the issue in 2028 unless President Trump and them fix it, if affordability is still the issue, I'm telling you, the American people, they gonna reason. I'm just the voice of an average American. Talking to the American people, they tired of the corruption, they tired of the Epstein list, they tired of all these things. They tired of being lied to about assassination attempts or actual assassination of Charlie Kirk. They tired of all these things. So when they put the two politicians next to each other, if affordability is the issue, the Democratic progressives are winning because they are doing stuff for people. AOC have been preaching for years, decades, fighting for years, decades, doing stuff for her constituents. Bernie Sanders, this the same sermon Bernie Sanders been preaching. Free Medicaid, free Medicare, free healthcare, free college. I'm saying that kind of talk right now in this political climate. Oh, you can't give out everything for free. They don't want to hear for the Republicans. When y'all get y'all turn to run things, you are no more physically responsible than the Democrats. Actually, there's space and room for arguments. The last two Republican presidents have been less financially responsible than the Democrats. So that's not going to fly on the American people, not when you have a Republican who was just president. And I know VP Harris and them, and Gavin Newsom and them, they're going to be showing the American people, AOC and them, they're going to be saying, hey, look at this. Look how much money he spent. When he said he was going, AOC was saying it before he did it. He was saying the tax cuts was going to add 1.5, 2 trillion. I saw a Pew Research thing. They said it was going to add trillions to the deficit. And that's where you was trying to cut it. So I'm saying you're going to lose the argument of trying to be physical responsible to why you don't want to do stuff for the American people. The Republicans, President Trump, they lost that argument. That's factual. You gave a tax cut. If you didn't give that tax cut, I'm saying President Trump would have literally, looking at the numbers, if that tax cut cost $2 trillion, he was $2 trillion short of balancing the budget. If the tax cut cost $2 trillion, he was $2.25 trillion of balancing the budget. So say he would have spent, I'm talking about that budget would have been as close to being balanced as it has been in a long time. It really was. If that tax cut costs 1.5 trillion, I'm saying, because that's what, I mean, maybe if he didn't fire all those government workers, maybe if he didn't do A, B, C, or D, then he would have spent 3 or 4 trillion. Maybe that was the goal, so I wouldn't spend that much money. But I'm saying he spent a lot of money, more money than the Democrats were spending, and the Democrats spend just as much, if not more. What my point is, the American people want you to spend that money on us. Let me re-say that. Because you're spending it on Americans one way or the other, the rich or the poor. The American people, for the most part, that make less than $100,000 or $200,000 a year for families, they want you to inject that money into the middle class or into the lower class. That's what they want you to do. Expand the middle class. That should be the goal. That's what the American people want to do. Listen, guys, 53 minutes. I'm going to get down there in the comments. I just want to, I looked up something today. I looked up how much money does American businesses make? And it's over $4 trillion. You see what I'm saying? It's over $4 trillion. If you adjust the tax code in America, if you make a billionaire pay 90% of a billion earned, that $4 trillion, that's how much, pretty much in billions, that was made, 4 trillion. I'm gonna get these numbers direct, like precise for you, because we're gonna do a live stream, not tomorrow. What's tomorrow? No, tomorrow is number 75. That's the 75th edition of Tax the Rich. So on the 75th edition of Tax the Rich tomorrow, I'm gonna get all these numbers for you and give you my strategy and break it down for you. How I want to know, how I wanted to ask AI, how many billions? See, you could look at the businesses that are only making millions. That's a different tax bracket. How many billions are made by businesses in America? And I don't know if the number was accurate, but it was like over 4 trillion. So we taking 90% of that. If the numbers was accurate, $4.3 trillion made by billions and billions, because the tax on billions is 90%. If that's accurate, we taking 90% of that. That means, if that's accurate, that means billionaires alone, America tax revenue, we could collect about $3 trillion, over $3 trillion, just from the billionaires. So if you look at the millionaires, I'm telling you, you're going to fill up the whole tax code. You're going to fill the whole tax code, and then people making $100,000 a year or less that's working, you're going to give them a stimulus because they're not going to have to pay no taxes. That's better than the President Trump's tariff policy. That's the best policy, tax policy that I've heard from anybody. Because I don't know if Zoran and them, if Bernie and them believe that people under $100,000 a year don't have to pay any taxes. I believe we should rewrite the whole tax code. I'm telling you, I could see, look, how much money is the United States collecting in tax revenue right now? I'm telling you how I'm going to do the stream. This is how I'm going to get to the final conclusion. How much money is the United States collecting in tax revenue? Say the number's 5 trillion, so we need to get to 5 trillion, okay? Because we need to at least match what the United States is collecting, if not exceed it, which we will exceed it. So we need to get to 5 trillion. So what we got to do is we got to find out how many billions are being made in America and how many millions are getting made. Because on them millions, you're getting 50 to 60% of that, and on them billions, you're getting 90% of that. And I'm saying when you bring them numbers together, you should exceed what we are collecting in taxes, and that's going to relieve people who make $500,000 a year. They're not going to have to pay no taxes. What you think going to happen to the economy? You making $500,000 a year, and now you ain't got to pay no taxes. Say you were paying $100,000 a year in taxes, and you getting $100,000 tax break a year. That's who, the person I think you could give a tax break, the wealthiest person you give a tax break is a single man or a single woman who makes $500,000 a year. A single person, I don't care where they're living, New York, LA, wherever, and you making $500,000 a year, you're doing pretty well. And if you making $500,000 a year as a single person and you getting a tax break, everybody else who make less than you that's working will benefit greatly immediately. Imagine if you making $50,000 a year and you paying $10,000 a year in taxes as a single person. I'm saying you getting a $10,000, that's a $10,000 stimulus. That's the best. Listen, the rich people get the money anyway. The money recycles to a rich man. You understand that? So all you doing is injecting a whole lot of money into the middle class and to the poor people so they could go buy Jordan, so the rich man Nike could get the money back. So they could be able to afford to get an apartment so the rich landlords could get their money back. So that you get that, the money's just going to recycle to the rich anyway. So why make it top heavy? Your money ecosystem is off. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm preaching. I'm not preaching tax to rich as a progressive policy. I'm preaching tax to rich as a solution to help save our republic. That's what I'm preaching. I'm not preaching it as a progressive policy. Some of y'all might take it like that. I'm not a Democrat like Mandami and them. I'm not a democratic socialist like Bernie Sanders or AOC and them. You see what I'm saying? I'm preaching tax to rich is saying the progressives got the best way, whether they know it or not, to fix our tax system in America. Because fixing the tax code would be, if I'm starting on a bit, that's what President Trump started. The tax code. Cutting taxes for billionaires, that's the tax code. That's where he started. The new president, when they come in, I'm sure if Joe Biden had the votes to change the tax laws in America, he would have did it. Because VP Harris was trying to raise corporate taxes, corporate gains taxes. She was trying to raise it, bro. You could say Democrat raise taxes. All you got to do is get that same Democrat to not tax the middle class or the poor. And I promise you, they ain't gonna care about you taxing a rich person. That's why Barack Obama came in there with raising taxes and he got reelected. It's more people, it's more people who make less than $200,000 a year in America than make more than $200,000 a year. And it's not even close. It's like 2 to 1. 2 to 1 Americans make less than $200,000 a year. You just got to be aware of that. And you got to recognize that. So when you looking at the voting age and how many voters you could get, the man who's saying, like, yeah, he could get more voters. Because there's more voters who make less. Y'all get that? If y'all haven't liked the video, man, y'all double tap the screen for Big Ghostwriter, man. Big Ghostwriter. The top 1% of the United States pays 45% of all taxes. That's always their argument. The top, they need to pay all the taxes. I don't care how much. If they pay in the top 40, if they pay 45%, which is not true, just to let you know, which is not true, because I could show you billionaires who pay less than $1,000 in taxes. So that's not completely true. I could show you millionaires who pay less than $500 in taxes. You think President Trump was the only one who made $450 million and paid $700 in taxes? $450 million in 1 year. So the top 1% of earners do not pay what you said in taxes. But look, let's just say that was true. I don't care. Pay all the taxes. You got the money. If the top 1% of the United States pays 45%, make them pay 100%. The top 1% pay 45, but you still got a trillionaire. You still got this dude worth this many billions. This one worth hundreds of billions. This one worth hundreds of, let them pay it all. They still rich. They still got money. If they had to pay 45% more in taxes, it wouldn't kill them. They'll still be rich. They'll just figure out different ways to get their money and get richer. Bottom line, if you guys haven't liked the video, we've been on for an hour, guys. Double tap the screen for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys have hit that notification bell. Guys, I did a live stream yesterday, you know what I'm saying? I know some of y'all showed up for it at 2 p.m. and I wasn't able to do it. Like I said, man, I was in the middle of a deposition. It lasted longer than I thought. It lasted 4.5 hours. Got it done, powered through it though. That's one of the cases, majority of the work done, unless they want to go to trial and they want to pay 5 times what I'm asking them for. I don't think the judge gonna let the case proceed to trial though. That's what I believe, according to what he has said. But you know what I'm saying? I jumped on, I did a live stream yesterday. It was only like 25 minutes, you know, had a couple of technical difficulties, but I did it yesterday. You know what I'm saying? At about 6 p.m. So if you guys want to check that out, if you're a channel member, you know what I'm saying? You guys will be able to watch that. It's available for channel members right now. You know what I'm saying? David said their money is tied up. Yes, it is. But I'm saying, you can, whether the money is tied up, listen, this is what I'm saying. So say Elon is worth 1.1 trillion. So besides that $1 trillion, Elon is worth 100 billion. So if you took $1 trillion from Elon, he would still be, what, 10 times richer than President Trump. You don't understand how rich the man is. He's still going to be worth that 1.1 trillion. So that 1.1 trillion is tied up. We're not looking to do what MBS did in Saudi Arabia and bring Elon to the Hyatt and make him give us $1 trillion of his money. We're not doing that. That 1.1 trillion will still be tied up. All I'm saying is if Tesla, within the calendar year, let's use Google. All I'm saying is if they make $500 billion, listen, you just got to find different ways. You paying your employees, I'll never try to stop you from paying your employees. That's where you give them tax breaks, though, for the employees. You see what I'm saying? We're not giving you no tax break for you to buy a yacht or to take your workers on $30,000 per person vacations to Bali. That's not what we're giving you a tax break for, to spend 25 bill or to have a private jet that you flying around. I mean, man, we just need to change some things. President Trump came in saying we need to change some things, but he telling you who make $200,000 a year, he telling you not to buy Barbie dolls for your baby. What? But you gonna give Jeff Bezos a tax break so he could go buy a yacht. It don't make no sense. Yeah, we do need to change some things. It's not the middle class. The middle class and the poor people, yeah, they do need to tighten up their finances. But the rich people, we don't need no more trillionaires in the world. Elon need to be the first and only trillionaire in this world. We don't need more than 1,000 billionaires in America. We don't need more than that. That's enough rich people. You create opportunities for Epstein lists. You create opportunities for corruption. In the 50s, some of America's best times, you see what I'm saying, financially, when the country was doing the best, we didn't have that many billionaires. You see what I'm saying? It was a 60% tax on millionaires in the 50s. That's how America's gonna do better. You just gotta hire somebody. Look, you could have someone like VP Harris or Governor Newsom. They could be talking about taxing the rich, but you gotta hire someone like Ghost to tell the story. Because when I tell them people who make under $50,000 a year, when I tell them people who make under $100,000 or $200,000 a year that they ain't gonna have to pay no taxes, I promise you, listen, they might not be registered to vote. It's gonna be a Barack Obama effect. You telling somebody who makes $60,000 a year, who paying $12,000 a year in taxes, that under this new, we could tax Elon and Jeff Bezos and them more money, but you ain't gonna have to pay no taxes. Bro, them people gonna vote for you. It's more people making $67,000 a year than it is making a trillionaire. It's more people making $100,000 a year than it is making $100 million. The numbers for you to achieve power in America is on your side if you adopt this tax policy. You said stop paying taxes, bro. Listen, in Texas, they don't have no taxes on businesses. So if you get a Republican who want to cut taxes, give me Greg Abbott. Because I know Governor Abbott, with that surplus in the state of Texas, he understands that if I stop collecting revenue from taxpayers, then I have to get it from somewhere else. So, hey, we could start, listen, if I gave you a $20,000 tax break and you ain't got to pay no taxes no more, we could start getting money from toll roads, just like they do in Texas. They replace the money with something else, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You have to have smart politicians, and not these politicians who are 80 years old. They out of touch. Y'all, how old Governor Abbott is in Texas? I know he not 80. He got smart policies. It's his 4th term in the state of Texas, and Texas is running a surplus. And he a Republican. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We need younger politicians with better policies that fit the current times. You got these old men and they trying to govern like it's 1980. It's not 1980, man. That stuff don't work. It's not working. The American people not supporting it. And I'm saying that's where you get the divide from in America. Listen, when President Obama was president, the divide come from, it was a political divide. You see what I'm saying? You had Republicans against Democrats. But I'm saying you got people in President Trump's own party, they going against him. That's more than a political divide, man. That's an age thing. That's a culture thing. It's a clash of cultures. You said Greg Abbott is an Israel supporter. I'm an Israel supporter too. What's that mean? I'm an Israel supporter too. I support the people of Israel. Why wouldn't I? Oh, you talking about APEC? APEC is the people of Israel. How many people you think in APEC? How many members you think in APEC? I'm talking about that are Israelis. In an American organization, Israelis, true, real Israelis, you might have some thousands. You got 10 million people in the nation of Israel, and you telling me you're not going to support the nation of Israel because of what their leader is doing. That's the same thing as you telling the Canadians or the Mexicans not to support America or not to love America or not to love cheeseburgers and pizzas and hot dogs because of what President Trump is doing. That don't work. You got to separate the leader from the people. Look, the supreme leader is the leader in Iran, and you got millions of people out there protesting. Millions. And these are people who know that they probably gonna get killed. You can't see that there's a divide between the leader and the people. They not supporting that. I'm saying when Benjamin had 1 million people, that's 1/10 of his population that came out and was protesting against him. The people ain't supporting what Benjamin doing 1,000%, just like you don't support what President Trump do 1,000%. The people, listen, let the Iranians and the Russians and the Chinese, I don't think the Chinese are this stupid, but let them hate a whole nation because of a leader. We are intelligent in America. We are of a different species in America. We're not going to hate the whole nation of Israel because of the actions of one man. That's ludicrous. We're not going to hate the whole nation of Iran, the people. We don't know the people. Name 5 people you know that's from Iran. You don't know them. You don't know what kind of people. You don't know them. How you going to hate the whole country and they out there protesting against the leader? Because the actions of one man, that don't make no sense. Yeah, I support the people of Israel. That's crazy. I'm not saying that I don't all the way like hate Benjamin. I don't have nothing against Bibi Netanyahu. I don't know him. He ain't the leader of my country. I have no concerns of that. Just we Americans do not support nobody starving women and children. That's the only hang up I had with Bibi. That whoever advising him, that was a fatal flaw for him to block the aid for them Palestinian women and children. That was a fatal flaw. If y'all don't know, prior to that happening, I'm talking about before President Trump took office, I did a live stream and I talked about that. But I wasn't necessarily talking about what Israel would do with the Palestinians. I was talking about President Trump and his immigration policies. You see what I'm saying? Leave them women and kids alone, because that's how they gonna get you. It's with the women and kids. You messing with women and children, they gonna put that on CNN. You deport. Ain't the people of America do not want to see you deporting no woman and child and her family that's been in America for 10 years. They don't want to see it. Look, it's bad enough if you take an Alfred, a good old Mexican dude that been working around the church for 15 years. I'm talking about in the Republican communities, they don't want Alfred to leave. We know Alfred. You see what I'm saying? They don't want him to leave if they know him. I'm talking about the dreamers. President Obama was smart. You touching a woman or a child that has been in this country for 10 years, you gonna get complete outrage. Bibi should have known that. You should have had the right person advising you. You starving women and children is gonna spark global outrage. And I don't care what your justification for doing it, all I'm saying is gonna hurt you politically. Don't do that. He just got the wrong advisors around him. You got these old men who thinking that it's still 1980. They thinking that it's 2000 or 2010. You know what I'm saying? You got your 80, 70, 80-year-old leader. It don't have to be a president. It could be anywhere in the community. 70-year-old leader. The last time they was plugged into what was happening in the culture, they was in their 60s, 65. After 60, 65, they stopped plugging in. How many people that you know that's 80 years old, 75 years old, besides President Trump, got a TikTok? They stop plugging in. What's the newest? What's the newest social media? Man, I never got on TikTok before in my life. Never. It's not like Twitter. Twitter came out around the time Facebook, didn't it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, or Facebook came out a little bit first, but you know, you always already on Facebook. I felt like it wasn't no need for Twitter. I see it's a lot of need or a lot of gain for my business on TikTok. I never got on TikTok. Stopped on Instagram. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. That was it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's mostly because of my age. All the girls that were 20 in their 20s when TikTok came on, I still know them. They still on TikTok in their 30s. You see what I'm saying? It's a big difference in those ages. It's a culture thing. It's a culture issue. A 70-year-old isn't gonna see things out of eye as me, and I know he think he right. Just like his daddy thought he was right when he was telling you 70 years old. Your daddy thought he was right whenever he was 70 and you was 50 and he was telling you what to do too. You go get that man's son who is my age or younger. He could be 50 years old or younger, and I guarantee you without the influence of his daddy, I'm going to see eye to eye with his son. But I'm not going to see eye to eye with his daddy. I see eye to eye with Muhammad bin Solomon on a lot of things that I won't see eye to eye with King Solomon on. That's an age thing, man. It's all an age thing. I'm going to see eye to eye with J.D. Vance on a lot of things that I'm not going to see eye to eye with President Trump on. I'm going to see eye to eye with Marco Rubio on a lot of things. I'm going to see eye to eye with VP Harris on a lot of things I won't see eye to eye with Joe Biden on. That's why I was telling VP Harris just to be yourself. They was trying to run a polished campaign or a polished politician. Nah, baby, just be yourself. That's how you gonna connect with the American people, man. You just gotta be yourself. If you guys have not liked the video, y'all go ahead, double tap the screen for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if y'all hadn't hit that notification bell yet, it's the Confederates' last stand. If you think so, we trying to make America 250 more years of greatness. That's what we want. You could say it's America's last stand, and if you say so or you think so, but I'm not going to believe that. I'm going to believe that America has 250 more years of greatness. It's up to us. You know what I'm saying? As a Christian, you might not think the world might not be here for 250 more years. It might not be, but we gonna fight for ours, and America is ours. I was born here, homie. My whole family was born here. Most of the people in my family ain't never left this country. Most of them ain't even, we from Mississippi or Texas. Most of them ain't even been to New York City. Most of them ain't been to Los Angeles. You see what I'm saying? But the places we have been, we love it. You know, big ghostwriter, you know, I'm one of the travelers in the family. Me and my big sister on my mama's side, you know what I'm saying? We some travelers, man. That's what we do. I've been on the road basically for 3 years. Somebody showing President Trump some love. I don't have nothing against that. Someone says religion has arrested our development. I disagree with that. Maybe to a certain extent, but you can't exclude God, because you see what I'm saying? People are misrepresenting God or using God for political gain and control. What's the biggest tool that people use for political gain and control? Money. Are you going to exclude money from our society because people using money for political gain and control and corruption? You can't. God don't have nothing to do with what some man is doing or saying about him to try to get political gain or control, or if he's being corrupt. So you can't blame that on God. You see what I'm saying? You can say religion, maybe so, religion has arrested our development, maybe so to a certain extent. But I'm saying we're not going to exclude God. Money has arrested our development to a certain extent. We 39 trillion in debt. Can you exclude money from the future of America? How can you exclude God from the future of America? We need God more than we need money. We just don't understand that. You feel me? I'm not a preacher, but we need God more than we need money. God is our creator. We wouldn't survive without God. I'm saying we ain't living in the Milky Way. We living in God. You got to understand just what that is. Can't exclude either. You can't exclude money and you cannot exclude God. And people abuse money just like they abuse religion and God. They abuse both. We're not going to do that. You're not going to disrespect my God. You're not talking about my God anyway. But I'm saying you can't disrespect them and not in my live stream. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people on, you know, if I had 1 million followers, then, you know what I'm saying, but I still be plucking them people out of my life. I don't want you supporting me if you don't believe in God. I don't care if you don't support me. If you don't believe in God, you a lost person. You don't have a roadmap. If you don't know how we got here or where you going when you leave here, you just traveling through life without a map. You don't know where you going. You just lost. I know how we got here, and I know where I'm going when I leave here. I can't help because a man misrepresent religion or a man misrepresent God. I can't help because a man, he made $20 million off of telling people about God. And he might be corrupt and he might be fake. You can't hold that against God. You know, Satan is real too. Pen? Well, nah, we ain't penning none of that. We gonna hide you. We'll pen that. I'm not even religious, but we need something and God may be it. I'm saying we need God, man. Charles, we need God. God's not maybe it. God is it. We need God. You need that faith in God. Bro, I talk to my mama every time I get a cake. Bro, I pray. The Bible says that if you pray and you ask God as a Christian and you believe, God gonna answer that prayer. And I prayed so many prayers to God, things that I really cared about. He answered them all. You might see me in this situation I'm in my life right now. And you might think that I don't blame nothing that's going on in my life on God. Because it's not God, it's men who's doing this. Men misrepresent God. That's kind of what the live stream is about. These 80-year-old men and they outdated policies. They outdated. They're not in tune or tapped in with the American people. When we tell you something, Ghost is a perfect example of an American. I'm a veteran of the United States military. And at the same time, I was disciplined I went to drug and alcohol for selling drugs. So you see what I'm saying? That's both sides. I've seen both sides. Okay? You know, I'm trying to think of some more things. I want to appeal in the U.S. Court of Appeals. I've been to 24 states in the last 4 years, interviewed and talked to hundreds, if not thousands, that I've talked to. I interviewed at least 100 people across America during this time. The We the People tour and the Tax the Rich tour. A lot of interviews that I do, that I record, they don't never make it to a video or to a live stream. But you guys see it all the time. I'm always talking to people about their political views. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a partisan. I'm an independent. So both Republican and Democrat, I'm telling you, I'm a veteran, disabled, on supplemental income. I'm a business owner. I'm telling you, bro, to hear the voice of how America feels. I'm tuned in. I'm an independent. And I say this all the time, my views are the views of the majority of America. I believe that in my heart. I believe that my views are the views of the majority of America. So if you listen to Ghost, you are listening to the majority of the voters. And if you're listening to the majority of the voters, how can you lose power? The advice that I'm going to give you to do are going to be Democratic or they're going to be Republican. I don't care. It's just going to be what's best for America. I'll tell President Trump he need to tell the people to tax the rich. I'll tell President Trump he need to give the people a stimulus. I'm going to tell President Trump to do what's best for America. That's what we talking about. That's what we're going to talk about, doing what's best for America. You see what I'm saying? Besides that, you know, if President Trump did say he want to give Elon and them a tax break, and I'm his strategist, I'm gonna tell him, hey, listen, you give them a tax break, but you got to do it with an incentive. If you want to do it like that, you gotta make them or force them to hire a certain amount of people before you give them that tax break. You see what I'm saying? I'm not a Democratic strategist. Y'all, I'm telling you, I'm a hybrid. They're going to come out with a strategist who's like me. I'm telling you, I'm hybrid. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. So if you have a Republican policy, I'll support your Republican policy. I supported the tariffs. I don't know if that's a Republican policy or not, but I supported the tariffs. I think America getting $187 extra million or $1 billion, is not hurting at all. I supported the tariffs. But I don't support tariffs against Canada or tariffs against Israel or tariffs against Mexico or tariffs against any of Europe or Australia. I don't support that. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. I won't necessarily just be like, you know how I can't use JD, but you have a like advisor of President Trump. Like he had John Bolton as a foreign advisor in his first administration. And John Bolton is a Republican who believes in war. You know what I'm saying? I was completely against the war. Went hard on President Trump like Charlie Kirk did the first time with Iran. And then the second time, but he did it in one day and it was over with. So the second time, him doing it with Iran, coming off the success of Venezuela, like I'm saying, if I'm giving him advice, I wouldn't necessarily advise him not to attack Iran. That's the first advice I would do, is saying that that's a mistake. But if you're going to do it, President Trump, the first thing you need to do is make sure that strait is secure, because General Kane keep talking about that strait, and we don't want to leave any other consequences for future generations of American leadership who will have problems with the Iranians due to the fact that you allowed them to see that they could control that strait. Now, they got more power than Russia now. In my opinion, the Iranians got more power than Russia because they could control that strait. They could directly affect the world economy. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying if I was advising President Trump and you just got to go to war, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a progressive, they would have been no, 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 no. Or J.D. Vance, no, 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 no. Yeah, okay, you just got to go to war. It's got to end in 21 days. And the first thing you need to do is start with the blockade. I never advised the blockade to start with. I never did that. I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? If you watch all the live streams, I never said nothing about a blockade. But I felt like if it would have been kinetic action, that would have the first time President Trump attacked Iran, they never fooled with the strait. They was at war with Israel for 12 days and they never fooled with the strait. So in my mind, 21 days, you in and out that conflict, we might not would have even had the strait as a problem. The strait might not have even been an issue. Iran, if you 21 days in and out, you see what I'm saying? When did Iran close the strait? That was part of a greater strategy they have in the conflict with America, and they've been waiting on it for years. That's why they got everything they need to close that strait. The mines, the drone boats, and the Shahed drones. They've been preparing for that for decades. It's just the way that I would advise with the strategy, guys. 1.5 hours. An hour and a half, man. Upper West Side, Central Park, Manhattan. Guys, you can expect to see content from Manhattan for the next 90 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie, if certain situations happen and, like, you know what I'm saying, there is a possibility that I'll move on. You know what I'm saying? That I'll do a tax the rich in California. You know what I'm saying? And then if after we finish that tax the rich in California, of course, like I'll visit and see my mother. You know what I'm saying? I might end up posting up in Colorado. Who knows? I might end up buying like a RV in upstate New York to come back to in the summertime. Who knows what I'll do? Only God knows. But I know one thing for certain and two things for sure, man. I'm out here NYC in Manhattan, y'all, and I'm working. I'm putting in work. My business, Ameliorate Legal, man. I got the most cases in federal court that I ever had at one time. You know what I'm saying? I got a case against a city in Mississippi, and I say that case is probably the longest I've ever had a case open in my entire life. It's for a year. 11 cases I've had in my lifetime that came to a conclusion. I won 9 of them. Ain't none of them last 6 months. Not one of them, not actively. One case did last for that long, but I filed to reopen the case. And not only did I file to reopen the case, I won an appeal off the case. So it lasted that long because of those things. You see what I'm saying? But outside of that, man, I'm trying to tell you guys, like, I usually finish those cases pretty quick. But guys, we in Central Park. We on the Upper West Side. You feel what I'm talking about? Yes, indeed, man. You know what I'm talking about? Taking you guys through the city. Like I told you guys, man, like I'm in Manhattan, bro, and I just don't see my business not being in Manhattan for the short term. 90 days, I just don't see me not being in Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that I won't stay in New York, and it don't matter what nobody say, how you feel, what you think. You could do what you want to. You know what I'm saying? My opponents try to stop me, they get sued. So I don't mind them opposing what I'm saying or them telling me that you tell me where I'm gonna be at. You gonna tell me where I'm gonna be staying at. I don't care what you got planned. It's about what God got planned. It's about them lawsuits that's finna hit you in your forehead. Lawsuits that I've been holding you, that I've been holding. All you gotta do is get me mad and I'll go to town on you. My opponents, oh yeah. Cause I'm saying I got 2 lawsuits right here in New York that's ready to drop in August. A county and a city. And then I got a cop that was in the city who was drunk. That's 3 lawsuits ready to drop. I'm saying 2 of them are completed. And the third one's halfway done. So I could drop all 3 of them 3 days in a row. And then if you do something that made me mad, that you probably gonna get sued again. So that's gonna be 4 lawsuits on you, 4 new lawsuits, 4 new problems that you got. At least 2 of them. That's how I've been doing with my business the whole time, man. Ameliorate Legal LLC, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And we out here in Manhattan, man, and that's just where we gonna be. You know what I'm saying? I heard a man say something like he told somebody else, just be here when I get back, like he making a threat to him. You can't make no threat like that to me, because of course I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be waiting on you when you get back. And when you get back and do what you do and embarrass yourself, I'm gonna still be here. You just gonna get a new lawsuit right here in Manhattan. People who owe me money, you know what you owe me. You go ahead and make your payment, and then you say what you gotta say. Until you make your payment of what you owe me, you just gotta sit here and just enjoy the content, enjoy the ride. If you don't want to do that and you want to make a move, anytime you make a move, I'll sue anybody. I'll sue cities, boy. I got a county government that I'm finna sue. I'll sue anybody, homie. I don't care who you are. You just got to do the right thing about me. I protect and defend federal law. Somebody said tax the rich is a scam, but yeah, giving a rich man a tax break ain't a scam though. How that makes sense? Somebody said, don't tell me I'm one of them wokey black liberals. That's not what I am. If you say that, I'm a wokey black liberal who's against transgenders. I'm a wokey black liberal who's against gay rights. I'm a wokey black liberal who's against gay marriage. How am I a wokey black liberal? Makes no sense. Exactly. You exactly right. I'm a wokey black liberal. Wokey black liberal. No, actually, you're not right. Mendami is a Muslim. He don't believe in God, but he a Muslim. AOC, she believes in God. AOC spoke at a Baptist church in Georgia not too long ago. You tell AOC she don't believe in God because she a liberal, and watch what she tell you. If you ain't got no cameras in her face, if I was her, you get cursed out. But I know she more dignified than that. She more dignified than Ghostwriter. She been in politics for 8 years. AOC is a polished politician, but she a real one though. But you go tell her she don't believe in God and see what she tell you. You guys haven't liked the video, y'all go ahead and double tap the screen for me. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Yes, indeed, out here in New York today. I'm not wearing the jacket to be stylish, but I'm saying it's like 65 degrees out here this morning, man, in the middle of July. I'm from the South. But this is an abomination to think that you ain't even gonna look at a jacket in Mississippi in July. You won't even look at one. I don't care. The cool days, yeah, you 60-something degrees in July in Mississippi, in the South, in Texas, in Florida, never that. Yeah, it's 60. It's mid-60s up here in New York City this morning. Beautiful morning. It feels good. It rained all yesterday. It rained this morning, but it feels great outside right now. Christ is King. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Every case that I ever won in my entire life, I give the glory to my Creator, Jehovah Jireh. I praise God because I pray to God and I ask God to help me throughout all of these cases. I told one of the attorneys, he said that he not ready to pay right now. And I told him, I said, sir, listen, if you're not ready to pay, all those police officers could get sued. I could sue you in state court. And if you had a chance of winning this case, I'll file an appeal on it, all simultaneously. Problem not going away. He said, well, that might be an abuse of, abuse of something. He said he'll file. I ain't never heard of nothing he talking about. You can file whatever you want to, sir. I don't have a law license, so I'm not regulated by the bar of nothing. Yeah, and still like the bar, the New York bar, ain't no bar regulating me. I ain't got, so you can file whatever you want to, but let me tell you something, you paying. And God told me to tell you, you paying. I told their attorney that. That's how I talked to him. God told me to tell you, you paying. And I believe in my whole heart without a shadow of a doubt, I never didn't believe that he was gonna pay. You gonna pay, regardless. You gonna pay. So we did the deposition yesterday. We gonna see how it come out. I believe my God has the authority, my God has the power, my God has the grace, and my God told me anything I ask him in prayer, if I believe, he said it's mine. The money already mine, man. I believe that. Christ is King. Somebody says, are you on your way to work? I'm disabled. You see what I'm saying? As a disabled man, this is the work that I do. As a disabled man, I got a default judgment to file. I told you I did a deposition yesterday. I got a default judgment to file. I got discovery in another case to file. I got a conference in another case coming up at the end of this month, and I got to get 2 cases ready for August to file. So you talking about work, man, I'm out here grinding. I done been on the live stream, 20 days in a row? Not 20, about 15, seriously, 16 days in a row I've been streaming. Yesterday I streamed 2 times. I'm saying I wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. I take a shower, I come get on this live stream. From getting on this live stream, you guys don't see it when the camera go off, but I'm working on these cases. I told you I got 5 cases in federal court. One of them is been open for a year. And I'm up to date filing documents in all of those cases. We're standing multiple motions to dismiss in every single one of those cases. They still alive and we still litigating. I'm saying you don't count that. So you saying a attorney doesn't work? Because I'm doing the work of an attorney. I own a small business. So you saying an attorney doesn't work? What do you call that I'm doing then? You see what I'm saying? It's just stuff that is allowed while I'm on my disability to do. You know what I'm saying? So you saying that, I don't pay no attention to that, bro. I'm a disabled veteran. I do what I can do. I do the work that I can do. I became disabled in 2012 for the first time. Social Security Administration disabled, they deemed me disabled in 2012, 16 years ago. I went back to work for 10 years. Longer than that. For 12 years I went back to work after Social Security deemed me disabled. And 12 years later, I ended up not being able to work again. Ended up being a liability to businesses. Ended up developing tachycardia. That's a physical, that's not mental, that's physical, that's connected with my mental disability. I can't work in the sense that you saying go to work. I can't go clock in in the sense you saying go clock in. It don't matter how you feel. It don't matter what you believe. It don't matter what your mama, it don't matter what my family feels or believes. It's what's the truth. That's what's gonna win in the end. Some people, I had a man told me that it didn't matter what's right and wrong. It matters about who you know. If I was you, I would never say that out my mouth, because you are the definition of what's wrong with America. You the definition of corruption. All that matters is about right and wrong. It matters who you know too, but you can know the judge and you could get him to do something shady, or you could know an attorney and you could get him to not pay. You just hurting yourself, because I believe that Christ is king. Not who you know is king. If it don't matter about what's right and wrong, you go stand before God and tell him that. This dude telling me this too, who's saying this supposed to be a Christian. This a Christian, quote unquote, who's saying it don't matter about what's right and wrong. It matters about what you know. So you stand before God and you tell God that it don't matter about right and wrong. It matters about who you know. Tell God that and see what he say. I don't believe in none of that. They call me a Freemason because I don't lose cases. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that I don't get supported by a lot of Masons, or I'm not supported by a lot of members of the military, because they love the fact that I have integrity. I'm a young man who speaks about integrity. You see what I'm saying? They love the fact that I'm a fighter. There's a lot of things that they love about me. I'm not saying I don't have support from them. What I'm trying to tell you is I believe in my God, and my God is the reason why that I believe that I do not lose cases, and I'm not going to lose. I don't care how big the opponent. David and Goliath. Give me Goliath. If necessary, if I had to make things better, I would bring a lawsuit against my government. If I knew that I could bring a lawsuit against the federal government and I could get every police officer in America who's not trained. Listen, a lawyer, an attorney for a city government is asking ghosts. Yesterday, he acting ghost. Listen to me. We're not in Mississippi. We're not in Kansas, Toto. We're not even in Texas. We in New York City. And a lawyer for a village government, a municipality, that village ain't no different. It's incorporated just like a city. A lawyer for a village government is asking me what his police department should have did better in handling people with disabilities. And I could tell him. Really, if he gave me some time, I really could have, I could have gave him a whole list, but I didn't want to do that. To me, you got to pay for that. I could train your police department in Americans with Disability Act. Boy, I'm an expert in that. You know how many cases in federal court I wrote with the American Disability Act in it? You know how many hours I spent researching that law? You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to tell you, man. Like, you feel me? Like big ghostwriter, like he asking me. I told him, you know, Ithaca, New York, I want to shout out a good police department. Because I'm not going to give you the answer to the test, Mr. Lawyer, because we might end up at trial. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you about Ithaca, New York. I'm in the park. Okay? I told you I got a disability. My disability in full effect, I've been triggered. People in the park, they don't feel safe. Whatever's going on, they didn't call the police. The police pull up on me. Everything, sir, that is with me right now, all if I had an expired license now, I had it then when the Ithaca Police Department pulled up on me. But once the officer became aware that I had a disability, what he did is he immediately got on the phone and he got a civilian. It's not a social worker. I guess it might be a social worker, but I think he worked for Choice. Choice is like an organization in New York that helps homeless people and stuff. Buy them shoes, buy them clothes, give them government phones, all kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So I think he worked for Choice. So he was taught to the police department, somebody who has a disability, they called this guy, and he came out onto the scene and he was attempting to provide services that the state of New York had, the city of Ithaca had, for disabled people. You see what I'm saying? The police, Ithaca, the city of Ithaca, they understand that their police are not trained in disability law. So when they have a problem with a person with a disability, the police come there first, and then the police call someone to come handle the situation with the disability, someone who is trained in handling people with disabilities. And that gets the police out of their liability because they don't know what they're doing. They don't even know the rights. Most police departments are not trained by their city. The police go to police academies. You feel that? And then they're not trained by their cities on how to deal with people with disabilities, mental illnesses. You see what I'm saying? So the attorney for this village, he was asking me, yeah, there's a lot of things that officer could have done. There's a million things that officer could have done besides what he did. What he did is inhumane policing. He talking about a state law. He talking about his village's policy. Sir, how much your village policy matter? I don't even want to call his village, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to stay professional. But you go right directly north to Austin. Because most of the people who are in that village, they commute with Austin, New York, right there. You know what I'm saying? It's a city on the Hudson River, pretty little city. Even his village is a pretty little village. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying, how many people, sir? How many? If you go right to Austin, what's your policy in Austin? What's your policy in New York City? Your little bitty village with 10,000 people in it. What's your policy mean in a city with 10 million? Your policies don't mean nothing. New York state law means a lot, but New York state law don't mean nothing when it comes to American with Disabilities Act. Federal law trumps anything you talking. So if the Americans with Disabilities Act say, even with the police, you got to provide me a reasonable accommodation, I don't care what your policy talking about. It's a battle between your little bitty village's policy and federal law. Who you think gonna win? Because when I'm talking, it's federal law. But your police officers don't know it because you don't want to spend the money. Listen, all you got to do in your police department is get an off-duty police officer or a police reserve. I think this guy was a reserve with the police department, and he was trained in how to deal with people with disabilities. He was trained in that. So whenever there's a incident in the park with a disabled person, our police department's not gonna come here pulling out guns because we don't know what we're doing with this dude with a disability and shoot him. But we know once he told us you got a disability, sir, stay right there. This what the police doing in Ithaca. The police arrived on the scene just like they did in your city over here in Westchester County. And just like Westchester County, the police arrived on the scene. As soon as the dude said he got a disability, hold on right there, sir, we'll be right back. And they gone, they out of there. In Ithaca, they smart. In Ithaca, they real smart. The New York State Police, they smart. They real smart, they past smart. The state troopers, I ain't never had no issue like that out of one state trooper. I ain't never had an issue close like that out of one state trooper. The only reason why I stayed in Cortland Manor, basically Peekskill, is because the state troopers were the cops in that area. Because I know the state troopers, they not finna do nothing foul like that. They ain't finna do nothing close to that. They better cops than that. They higher paid, they better trained, they everything. They could go to the same police academy, but they better cops. Facts. You can't argue that. State troopers ain't never did that. But I told them about the state troopers, but I want to tell you about the Ithaca Police Department, because Ithaca is a city with about 20 or 30,000 people or less. It's as big as your village. So you can't say it's an undue expense to do what Ithaca did. I shouldn't even told him this. I should have just saved it for him if he was going to trial. But as soon as they pulled on the scene and this dude said the word disability, he said, "Hold up, sir. Stay right." His whole countenance changed. He pulled up on the scene like he would be a RoboCop. And then he said, "What disability?" He said, "Oh, his whole thing changed." He started talking soft. These are trained cops in Ithaca. I'm not hating on your city. I want your city to get better for the residents of your city. I'm not hating on your police department. I want your police department to be better trained for the residents in your community, so no other disabled veteran have to go through this. I'm trying to make my country better. And how I make my country better, this is how we got to do it. We got to go to court, because you not getting it. And you don't care how they do it in Ithaca, or you don't understand that. That Ithaca cop, he walked straight off. He walked straight off. And I'm saying they went and sat in their police car. This man don't care if I got a license. This man don't care if I got insurance. This man don't care if I got registration, because all of those are state laws. He understand that. This dude said he got a disability, and what he talking about is the Americans with Disabilities Act. That's federal law. Federal law trumps state law in every situation. It trumps it, and he gets that. So when the dude said disability, I don't know what kind of rights he have. I don't know what the Americans with Disabilities Act is, but he said he got a disability. So, sir, you stay right there. Don't move. It took 20 minutes. Sir, you stay right there. Don't move. I got somebody who finna come out there, and he gonna talk to you. He went to his car. He picked up the phone. I don't know what you call this dude. I know he worked for Choice. I remember Choice. They called him a crisis response person or something. I don't know who he was. But when he came out there, he wasn't dressed in no police uniform. I know they said he's an off-duty officer or something, or he a reserve, he work at night. He came out there, he wasn't dressed in no police uniform. He's just regular clothes. The first thing the dude did, he trained. He started telling jokes. He started talking about New York City. He started talking about himself. He started talking about vlogging and YouTube, the things I care about. And he made me forget whatever reason I was upset out there. So I'm not triggered no more. My blood pressure not high, may take car. He took away the disability. You just got to be smart. You got to know what you're doing. He took away any kind of situation. When the paramedics come, they're going to put me in an environment that's going to make my blood pressure, my heart rate, everything go down. They know how to deal with people with the disability. They train. That's what he did. No paramedics. Now my heart rate down. Now I'm not mad at the police. I'm not mad at nobody. Now I'm laughing with everybody. Yeah, this ain't just a regular person getting mad out here. This ain't just an angry black man. That's what a racist white dude wants you to think. This is an angry black man. This is a man who has disabilities that were documented since 2012. My mama has went on record 2 times. My mother has went on record twice, in 2012 and in 2023, for my disability. And my father went on record in 2023 about my disability. Doctors all over the country, from Colorado up here to New York. I'm saying I don't see how you could get past it, beat it, or anything. You just gonna lose. And what I'm doing is helping all the every disabled person in Westchester County. Everybody in Westchester County who got expired, I'm telling you, I'm trying to help everybody. Yeah, I'm gonna benefit for doing it. I might get 20,000. All the cases, I might get $100,000, but I did $100,000 worth of work. I'm beating lawyers. So I got to be doing at least as much work as they are or more, because I'm beating the attorneys. What? So I got to at least be doing the work that they doing, if not more. I might not get paid for it. You see what I'm saying? And when I get paid for it, the money that I make that's in my business, I report it to Social Security. And the money that I make, that's pain and suffering, or for me, my injury, I don't have to report none of this to Social Security. Because these are personal injury cases. These are cases that I got injured on. Now my business, I ghost wrote a case for a customer who gonna pay me $40,000. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's all to do with my business. I'm gonna have to file taxes on that, and I'm gonna have to report that to the government. And whatever the situation is, I imagine that, like, my supplemental income at periods, because I'm a legal person and I get large lump sums, it might be stopped for 6 months or for a year at periods. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely disabled, man. I've been disabled, like I said, since 2012, and I'm not going to change from that. In 2012, I went back out there in the workforce, and my mama told me I shouldn't have, but I did. And you know what ended up happening? And I wasted 12 years of my life. And from 2012 to 2023, 11 years of my life, I'm right back in the spot that I was 11 years ago. I'm not going to do that circle no more. That's why I started a Miller Rate Legal. That's something you cannot take from me. They've tried hard. All you're going to do is get sued. All you're going to do is grow my business. You come messing with my business, you just going to grow it, because I'm going to sue you. And the more lawsuits I have, the bigger and better my business is. That's job security. I'm a one-man show. 5 lawsuits is plenty enough food for me. And I got 5 more on the way. And we right here in Manhattan. You could tell anybody you want to, go tell them I told them that. When you finish taking your shot at me, guess what city I'm going to be in? I'm going to make you look stupid. Because you telling me at 46 that I'm finna leave Manhattan. At 46, listen, I'm on tour. So, you know what I'm saying, I was trying to get to the city. So, will you want to leave Queens? Yeah, I'll leave Queens in Jamaica. And if they would have dropped me in Flushing, or if they would have dropped me in Woodside in Queens, those are pretty clean areas. Yeah, I'm going to stay. But in Jamaica, though, yeah, dude, I wasn't born or no hood or no gangster or nothing like that. I'm just a man. So, yeah, you put me out of Jamaica, yeah, but you in Manhattan, yeah, this is New York City. And this is where my business is. Yeah, it makes sense. My business was mad successful in Houston, Texas. And it would be mad successful in New York City. I really didn't get, I got 1 case in Mississippi. Even though I was there for 3 months, I only got 1 case. And I wouldn't have got no more cases after that if I would have stayed, and I knew that. So I'm going to go where the money at. You know what I'm saying? I know I go to Cali, I'm probably going to get some cases. You know what I'm saying? It's like they go, I get put, I ain't even gonna speak like that, y'all gonna say I'm crazy, but it's like I get put in situations where I can help out, because I'm helping out. I'm helping your village out. I'm helping that village out. I'm helping the city out. I'm helping the county out. That my hometown in Ocean Springs, my hometown in Mississippi, I'm helping them out by showing them that you don't do that. You need to change the way you police. These old leaders in your community, your sheriffs, your assembly people, your city councilmen, your mayors, these old leaders with their outdated policies. Old leaders with your outdated policies that are not in tune and in line with the American people. That's what it comes down to. You know what I'm saying? If you talking to a Christian man or a preacher, he gonna try to act like you don't love God as much as he do, because you see things different than him. That's not the case. From generation to generation, the world changes. That's God doing that. From generation to generation, people change. That means the world changes. From generation to generation. The median age for an American is 39.2 years. The median age for an American voter is 51 years old. Why in the world do we have a president who's 80 when the median age of a voter is 51? He's 30 years older than the median voter. And so that's why he's not on the same page with a lot of Americans, because the man is 30 years older than the median voter. He a whole generation older than the median voter. President Trump was 30 years old when the median voter was born. That's the problem. In your community, it's the same thing. The man you got in power is 70. He an old man. He think he got so much wisdom and he knows so much. But and I would say you did if I was in my 20s. But at 46 years old, I'm going to tell you to go sit your old self down and make way for Barack Obama. Make way for John F. Kennedy. Make way for William Jefferson Clinton. Make way for Zoran Mandami. We tired of these old leaders. These 80-year-old leaders, these 90-year-old leaders, bro, you got a cane. You wearing a diaper and you trying to lead the free world with a diaper on. That ain't what we want. We want Barack Obama. That's what we want, John F. Kennedy. We want a young man who wise and who in tune and who in touch with the American people. We don't want these old politicians, these old men who trying to rule the world like it's 1996. It's not 2001. I ain't hating on President Trump. President Trump still putting gold. He got gold all over the Oval Office. He got gold on the toilet seats. He got gold everywhere. President Trump is not 1990. Your policies are like it's the 90s. 80 years old men, bro. We need young leaders. We want a young leader. I'd rather have Gavin Newsom. I'm sorry, that age makes a difference. We want a young leader. J.D. Vance, we want a young leader. Marco Rubio, we want, whether you Republican or Democrat. These old men with their old outdated policies trying to run around telling people what to do. I'm going to give you an example. Let's get to the war on drugs. I'm going to spend $1 trillion, $2 trillion. You feel me? Declaring a war on drugs. Nancy Reagan in 1980. You look at drug use amongst the average American since you declared a war on drugs. It went up. You spent the money to get people to do more drugs. That's an old policy. It's outdated. It don't work. It don't work. You know how you decrease the drug numbers? You decrease them by legalizing it. You're going to decrease the numbers. They done did the studies in Europe. That's what decreased the numbers. You legalize weed, I'm getting taxed. I'm going to tax the snot out of you. You feel me? You legalize marijuana, I'm going to tax the snot out of you. So now, instead of the drug dealers selling the weed and getting money on the black market, you got the dispensary getting the money. Instead of your daughter going to buy drugs from a drug dealer in a dark alley, she could go right to the store when it opened at 9 a.m. in the morning. When the dispensary gets the money, that means they got to pay taxes. That means your firefighters could get a raise. That means your school teachers could get a raise. Yeah, right off of marijuana. Making millions, billions of dollars. These states making billions off of marijuana. Imagine when Texas legalized it, Governor Abbott, how much extra money your state gonna make? Because I'm saying the people still smoking the marijuana. Why I'm gonna spend $1 trillion to try to stop people from doing something they still gonna do? They gonna increase in numbers. It's cool for the kids to smoke because you telling them not to do it. You don't know the Adam and Eve story. The thing you tell them not to do is what they gonna want to do. You got old, outdated policies that don't work. We gave you a chance. A war on drugs in the 80s, it didn't work. Well, I'll never say be for legalizing crack or something that'll kill somebody, but I'm saying the stuff like marijuana, come on, man. That's an example. That's just a quick example of a policy that we had in the 80s and the 90s. It was good for the 80s and the 90s, but in 2026, we see the war on drugs was an epic failure. Imagine if federally the United States had legalized marijuana, how many billions of dollars it would have made. Because you got to use logic. This is a Christian man talking to you, a young Christian who's logical. If you saying smoking is wrong and it is bad for the body, that's facts. And if you saying smoking marijuana is wrong, this is what you do. When you tell people not to smoke it, they're going to go smoke it. And we've seen over the years, you can't stop people from smoking it. At least the government is not trying to. Maybe they make it too much money. Who knows? But you're not stopping people from smoking the marijuana. But you're spending money to try to stop it, but you're not stopping it. People still smoking. And that's when you got to use wisdom. In order for you to control it, then you become the seller. That's all it is. Instead of the drug dealer selling it, the government's selling it. You become the seller. You make the money. The government not selling it, but private individual make the drug dealer go get a business license and pay you taxes. Because you can't stop the marijuana from circulating. That's an old man and an old policy. Your old man you will never see what I'm telling you. And you might never realize the America that'll do it the way that I'm saying, the way that's going to work out the best. God gave the man the free will. You could illegalize anything you want to. Yeah, I'm going to make something illegal that'll kill you. Crack will kill you. Crystal meth will kill you. Fentanyl will kill you. But marijuana ain't going to kill nobody. That's the stupidest thing in the world, to put somebody in jail for 20 years for possession of marijuana. It's dumb and retarded. Alcohol is a far worse drug than marijuana is. It don't make no sense. Old men and they old policies that didn't work. And we all tried stuff that didn't work. The best president that then done stuff that didn't work. The best president. But I'm saying, when you see that it don't work, why do you continue to try stuff that you know ain't gonna work? Some stuff you don't even try in the first place. Like starving women and children, you don't even try that in the first place. We don't even do that in the first place. You see what I'm saying? Y'all, I've been cheating on the Tax the Rich tour. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to be doing an hour or less on the live streams, man. We well over 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? I've been bringing and delivering all this content to you guys. If y'all had not liked the video and y'all watching this after it was pre-recorded, you watching it now. Free to show someone love. All you gotta do is double tap your screen. If you're on a cell phone, just double tap your screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Also, I gotta tell y'all before I get out of here, channel memberships, $2.99. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to talk about ghostwriters' proposals for changing the tax code, you know what I'm saying, tomorrow morning at 7:15 a.m., all my tax people, all the people who love my ideas on the tax code, you know what I'm saying, you guys show up tomorrow. We talking about that. Man, I'm saying, if a politician hired me, I would develop a whole tax plan for this country. I'm talking about, it'll be beautiful, it'll be brilliant, and it'll work perfectly. All I need to know is the numbers. That's it. How many billions of dollars are made per year by businesses? How many millions of dollars are made per year by businesses? And then I'll look at how much revenue the United States is collecting in taxes. Okay? If that number 5 or 6 trillion, all I got to do is take $5 or $6 trillion from the millionaires and the billionaires. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? You know, it just depends. You got to tweak it and work it. And then the person who makes $100,000 a year, just eliminate their taxes completely. Make it to where they don't have to pay no taxes at all. That's a stimulus for the whole country. The whole country. We talking about it tomorrow, guys, 7:15 a.m. Eastern. I promise you, it's going to be well more thought out than what I just told you right now. Somebody said cigarettes is way worse than weed. Mr. Full Circle, it is though. That's facts. Nicotine kills people way worse than marijuana does. It's not about marijuana being good or bad. Fentanyl, it's about fentanyl being good or bad. Because it's killing people. That's stupid. You're not going... I mean, guns kill people too, but this is a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to legalize a drug that will help people get killed. But listen, in Switzerland, they did. They legalized shroom. They legalized everything. I think it was Switzerland. It was one of those countries in Europe. They legalized all drugs. And what they seen is the drug use went down tremendously. They seen the deaths from drugs went down tremendously. They legalized drugs. They opened up clinics where people could come in the clinics and do their drugs. So the rapes behind drugs went down tremendously. The murders behind drugs, it went down tremendously. I'm telling you, if you don't believe this, we'll do a live stream on it. This happened in Europe. They legalized all drugs in one country. And over a 10-year period, everything went down. It might be Norway, one of them countries. You could do any drug you want to legally. Go to a clinic, they give you syringes. Any drug. But I'm saying if people are taking fentanyl and you taking fentanyl supervised, you probably won't die. I wouldn't do that though. I don't believe in legalizing it to that point to where you allow people to take drugs that's messing up their lives that bad. To me, that's crazy. I never believe in legalizing those strong drugs, but marijuana, that's craziness. Marijuana is not that dangerous to a person to have it illegal. You see what I'm saying? You wasting a lot of money incarcerating people behind the marijuana. You need to legalize it federally. I'm a Christian saying that. Yeah, I am a Christian. You don't understand. You don't have the logic or the wisdom because you too old. You too old. You see what I'm saying? You too old. You gonna tell your kids to stop riding a bike while you at work. And regardless of how much you whoop them, how much you punish them, they still riding a bike while you at work. So after 40 years of you telling them not to ride the bike while you at work and they still riding the bike while you at work, why would you keep on telling them that? It's not, you understand that? That's the same thing. I'm saying it's like 40 years of war on drugs and fighting against drugs, and it just got worse. You got more kids doing drugs now than you did before you started the war on drugs. It got worse. You making it worse. I'm saying if you listen in America, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be gone. We believe the bigger man could just overpower someone, and that's just how you win. It's just by simply overpowering someone. You see what I'm saying? Well, you see that in Iran. You see that we do that in America. Big dog wins. It don't work like that every time. The big dog don't always win. You see what I'm saying? You got some Davids in the world and they're going to beat Goliath. You got a bunch of Davids in the world, more Davids than you think, and they're going to whoop Goliath. You see what I'm saying? We need to change a lot of things in America. And I'm saying these old men, they don't have the answers. You might say a young man might not have the answers, but you just got the wrong young politician. Get the right one. Get you a Zoran. At 34. By the time he finished mayor of New York, he gonna be 42. Get you a Barack. Get you a Bill Clinton or get you a John F. Kennedy. Extremely popular politicians. And they all were young. They all were the median age of the people. Man, this big ghostwriter, y'all, that's episode number 74 of the Tax the Rich Tour. You know what I'm saying? Legal Wars Live is mainly about live streams. A lot of the videos you see on the channel, those videos are just to promote something. You know what I'm saying? Some people, they do their YouTube channels where they're making money off videos. You see what I'm saying? Candace Owens, she made money off live streams. DJ Academics, all the people I'ma call, they gonna make money off live streams, you know what I'm saying? But I think Tucker Carlson, I think those are videos. I don't think he's live. I think those are videos that he's releasing. I think he might go live, but most of his content are videos. What I'm saying is the videos that you see on Legal Wars Live, they're either promoting a live stream like the Tax the Rich series, or they're promoting a tour like the We the People series, or they're promoting, you know what I'm saying, my business, Ameliorate Legal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't run videos. Legal Wars Live is not a company. It's a subsidiary of Ameliorate Legal, LLC. You know what I'm saying? I don't run videos like trying to, we do live streams on Legal Wars Live. You feel what I'm saying? That's what the people want to hear. They love hearing me talk live. We do live streams on Legal Wars Live. We do videos and shorts too, but the live streams is where we try to get our money from. I get video revenue from the videos, but it's a very little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? Very little bit of money, but I'm not complaining. I'm thankful. I feel like I'm blessed, man. I enjoy. I started this live stream because I want to appeal in the U.S. Court of Appeals. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like having the opportunity to be able to come out here still and talk to you guys, giving advice, you know what I'm saying, to my country. I love America. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Full Circle, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? See you in the AM in the morning. Yes, indeed. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing, wake up every morning, you know what I'm saying? Ready and willing for anything and everything. You know what I'm saying? Ready and willing for anything and everything, you know? So, yeah, man, you see me in the AM in the morning, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. Whatever city we in, you know, we go to Westchester County, I'll see you in the AM in the morning, you just gonna get sued again. You feel me? That's all that's gonna happen. I'm gonna file another lawsuit. You know what city I'm going to, the city I got to. You know about that cop in your city that was drunk. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Full Circle? This might not be for you, but this for who the appropriate people. They know who it is. You know about that cop who was in your city who was drunk. I still got that video. I don't care if he wasn't drunk, he was intoxicated. You want that before a federal judge? I'm saying these same federal judges, because it's going to the same court, Southern District, you're going to get sued for that. Anything else you come with, you're not stopping nothing I'm doing. All you doing is fulfilling your own lust. If I get my car towed, and I either get the car back and buy a brand new car off of that one car, say my car worth $17,000, and I'm saying if I end up getting $100,000 off you taking the car, what did taking the car accomplish? You just fulfilling your own lust. You know, you have a lust. Some men have a lust for power, okay? So they want to show you that they have power. So look, we can make you move from the spot you in, or we could take your car. But I'm saying you got to look at the bigger picture. You're not accomplishing or winning nothing. I'm going to declare a war on drugs, but the drug use is going to increase. What are you accomplishing or winning? I'm going to declare a war on homelessness, but the homelessness numbers are increasing. You're not winning or accomplishing nothing. You got to understand that. Well, the place for me right now is Manhattan. I'm going to be in this city. You ain't moving me from this city. That's point blank period. That's what that is. You could talk till your lips fall off. You could get sued 1,000 more times. You could go tell anybody you want to tell. I'm going to be right here in Manhattan. When you finish, you just going to get sued again. I could go to White Plains tomorrow and file that lawsuit, and me filing that lawsuit, you'll get 10 more lawsuits if you come play with me. Because I'm not doing nothing illegal. Point blank period. Nothing illegal. You could come with, I hope you come up with something that come from Sleepy. Well, let me not say their name. Because I'm saying that's going to be retaliation. I could promise you that. Anything you try to be, that's retaliation. You're going to get sued again. It'd be hard for me to prove, but that don't make no sense. With your name on it, if they got your name on something that the court done already told me, and you know you going through this process, I'm going to take you right in front of that same judge that you in front of right now. And before I file that new lawsuit, I'm going to tell them what you're doing, and then I'm going to sue you again. For retaliation. So you're going to get the drunk cop sued. You're not getting out of this lawsuit you in, and then you're going to get sued again. I'm saying you losing. What you doing, you losing. You spinning backwards. But I'm saying if you feel like you need to get me to get locked up for 3 days or whatever for some false stuff, do what you want to do. Jaywalking. He going to put you in jail for walking across a parking lot or jaywalking. Or they going to try to bring up they're going to bring up an issue that I had already spoke to the court about. You're going to try to hide behind, man, bro, try whatever you want to try. In the end, you lose, man. And God told me to tell you that. Christ is king, bro. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I'll see y'all tomorrow, Mr. Full Circle, at 7:45 or 7:15 a.m. Eastern. I apologize. Hey, y'all, I got a WTF. I got to talk to my boy, man. You know what I'm saying? WTF. Hey, listen, my girl, Miss Lori, she competing with you because yesterday, boy, she donated some money to the channel, got channel memberships and everything. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate WTF and Miss Lori. They are the biggest contributors of the channel at this time. Mr. said, never would have thought there would be American brainwashers supporting billionaires. If billionaires left, capitalism would kick in with innovation, and that's facts. What WTF says is 1,000% correct. Listen, billionaires won't leave. They're going to be part of that kick in with innovation, WTF. So what'll happen is that if you take if Elon make $10 billion, okay? And if you take in $9 billion of those dollars, Elon's gonna have to innovate. He's gonna have to come up with a way to make more money. If there's no way out of him paying 90% on a dollar over $1 billion, that man is smart enough to where he's gonna come up with other ways to get that $1 billion, to get more money. He's gonna innovate, he's gonna create, especially with artificial intelligence. It'll make the world a whole lot better place. WTF, man, it's unbelievable. You see what I'm saying? Back-to-back days, my boy come up in here and he get 5 channel memberships. That is huge for Legal Wars Live, baby. You see what I'm saying? Guys, that puts us over 40 channel memberships purchased. You see what I'm saying? Which I'm trying to promote that for July. You know what I'm saying? For the month of July, I'm trying to promote as many channel memberships as possible. So we got to give a special thanks to WTF. He's been doing this for months, adding and gifting 5 new channel members to the channel. You see what I'm saying? So we looking at how many channel memberships we looking at right now? We over 30. WTF, he didn't put almost all of them there. You know what I'm saying? Sir, I really appreciate you. I appreciate Miss Lori too, because she helped out yesterday. You guys support the channel. It's you, WTF, and it's Miss Lori. It's you guys' channel. You guys are my special interest. You know what I'm saying? So WTF, you and Miss Lori, your opinions are always valued, and I will always value your opinions, and I accept you guys' opinions. You know what I'm saying? You guys are the major supporters of this channel, and I appreciate all the love that you guys give Big Ghostwriter. I really do. I promise you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a good man. I got a good heart. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who might be calling themselves helping me they might be a good man and they might have a good heart. But the bottom line situation to the problem is man, we gonna be right here in Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? Right here in Manhattan. I don't care about nothing else going on. You could call the police on me. You could have them to arrest me for a fake reason. You just gonna get sued again. If you hadn't learned enough, I'll teach you. You see what I'm saying? The charges, whatever you arrest me for, them charges getting dropped and you get in that city and that police department sued. I just hope it ain't in the city. I hope it's not in White Plains, bro, because I'm saying White Plains escaped from getting sued. So that means that if it happens in White Plains, they didn't escape. They gonna get sued twice. You get 2 lawsuits instead of 1. How can you beat that? You mad because I'm finna go drop off some documents tomorrow. You upset with that. You see what I'm saying? You can't stop it though. So you threaten to arrest me on a false call or a false claim, and all you gonna do is be more mad because you gonna get sued twice. Because I let them make it in White Plains. I let them make it. I ain't gonna let you make it. We gonna go ahead and file that because I got most of it done. And whatever you do tomorrow, you gonna get sued twice. I promise you at the end of this, I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire. Why would I leave New York? That's crazy. If I know that all I have to do is sue you and that's gonna make you get the police, I don't know how you could get the police to do that. I guess they're kind of corrupt in a lot of spots up here. Because I'm saying where I'm from, you ain't gonna just be calling the police department, telling the police department to arrest somebody for no reason. That police department are crash dummies, especially when they know they gonna get sued. Ain't no police department that I sued and got a case dismissed, not one of them. And it's been over a year. The last time I filed a lawsuit against one of these departments was 7 months ago. I promise you, in 3 cases at federal court against cities that I have active, they filed collectively 5 or 6 motions to dismiss against me, and all of them have failed. So if you want to put your city on the list, put your city on the list. I don't care, bro. I don't do stuff to get arrested. You can't arrest me legally because I'm not going to do nothing to get arrested, ever. I'm a Christian and I'm a paralegal. I know the law better than the police. I know the law better than the people you call. You could call a lawyer, but your lawyer's losing against me. So I must know I know. That's what I'm saying. They went and studied law. I didn't just study law, I studied government. Government was my major. Politics was my major. So I know how this whole system works. They know how the court system in Westchester County works. They know how the court system in the Southern District of New York. The Southern District of New York ain't no joke now. The Southern District of New York ain't no joke now. But they know how the court system work in the Southern District of New York. Bro, I'm saying I know how the court system work in the Southern District of New York, in the Supreme Court of New York, which for some of y'all, that's just like a superior court. Superior Court in Connecticut, Federal District of Connecticut. You want to do this? You know what I'm saying? The 5th Circuit of Appeals in New Orleans. You want to do this? I could do this for days. Not every court in Texas. Almost. You know what I'm saying? Really, Texas is a big state. You know what I'm saying? I did the Western District. I filed in the Eastern District and the Southern District in federal court in Texas. I filed 7 lawsuits in state court in Texas. I filed in state court in Mississippi. I filed in federal court in Alabama. I filed in federal court in Pennsylvania. You want to do this? Your lawyer litigated in Westchester County, boy. I want to appeal in the U.S. Court of Appeals in the 5th Circuit. He can't spell 5th Circuit. He might have been to a city in the 5th Circuit. Well, I don't know because of Texas. He might have been to a city in the 5th Circuit 5 times. He can't spell 5th Circuit. I done won in the 5th Circuit, boy. That's where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? I done won across America and course across America, boy. I know, I'm telling you, I know more than your police. I probably understand things better than your attorney. It's unbelievable. It's what God created. Hey, it's a lot of wise men who spend time on me, WTF. A lot of wise men, and I thank them for their energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go and call your name, Terry Collins, man. I thank you for... I can laugh. I said, listen, it make him feel good. He like, dang, bro, I had somebody who was listening to me. I was trying to help him and was listening to me. Now I think about all this stuff that this man taught me. This man taught me the stuff he taught me has made me a better man, a better everything. It made my life better. The stuff that some of these black millionaires from Mississippi taught me, man, it made me be like I'm almost unstoppable. That's the best thing here. Besides any money he gave me or any rent that he could allow me to pay him to stay in his place, one thing that he gave me is he gave me an incredible amount of knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? A credible amount of knowledge, bro. And I was trying to learn everything I could from him. Wise men, smart men that I look up to. Yeah, that's the kind of person I am. That's how you get knowledge, is from other people. You see what I'm saying? So, bro, I'm in a live stream like that 2.5 hours. This is just like riding with Ghost Rider, 3-hour live streams. 2.5 hours, bro, in the live stream telling y'all we in Manhattan, man, to foreseeable time, bro. We not worried about any kind of WTF. We not worried about any kind of threats that they have due to me filing a default judgment tomorrow, because I will file a default judgment. You see what I'm saying? And if you come with anything with any police department about anything, I'm gonna let you know you're gonna get sued again for it. So just get ready for it. I don't care what kind of emails you try to get raised, you're gonna get sued again. You can't be God, man. I love my God and Christ is King, man. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Y'all already know. Like my boy said, 7:15 a.m. Eastern. WTF says it takes longer to become a barber than a police officer. WTF, you don't think we need to fix that? These men are running around with guns. Listen, back before COVID, they used to take their time in the selection of hiring the police officers. These days, they just put anybody on that police force. They hire anybody, almost hiring people who got felonies. They desperate. And I'm saying that's affecting the community. The people in New York don't even know this. I'm doing this. When I sue your police department, I'm doing that for you. Because I'm saying in 2027, I'll probably be in California. So I'm saying right now, today, if I'm suing your police department and I'm leaving, I'm doing that for you. That's to benefit you. If I'm going to be in California in 2027, how does that help you? How is that helping me? You see what I'm saying? That's benefiting you. That's not helping me. All them police department, all them lawsuits I filed in Texas, that was benefiting them. How is that benefiting me if I'm not even in Texas no more? That's how I look at that, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. Eastern. Y'all, it's Big Ghost Rider. I'm out of here.